Namaskaram, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all on my channel. So, this is my fourth episode on conscious conversation, and today I'm very excited to have a conversation with Gnana Prakash Anna. He is also an Hatha Yoga teacher, and the special thing is that we did an Hatha Yoga teacher training together in 2019. So, I'm really very excited to know his journey and his journey. How did he came across Sadhguru, and how did he did his teacher training course, and all to know about him. So let's get started that. So namaskaram Anna. uh,
Namaskaram.
very warm welcome to you all, and thank you for accepting my request and giving me this opportunity to have a conversation with you. So so let's start with an introduction. So you can just tell me about your childhood, your college, about your siblings, your parents. So yeah, we can start from there.
Namaskaram, Akan. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's something that I have not done in my life till now. But it's something, it's a new terrain for me, so I really wanted to explore. I'm really out for exploration now. I'm in that mode. So when you just called me, I thought, okay, this is probably the next stage of our exploration. So, yes, my childhood. So I was born and brought up in Chennai, and my childhood, I was a very quiet child. As when I was growing, my mom used to say that as a child you never spoke, and we thought that you are a dumb and you will not be speaking like that. That's how they say. But and right now the way I'm speaking with them, they used to say, we really wish you were dumb like that. So, so it was a very quiet childhood, I would say. I can still remember I used to be simply a listener, or I simply look into things like that. That's how I grew up. And when I was doing my schooling, I was more into extracurricular activities, culturals. That's how I was growing up, and I was very interested in those aspects. Books, it really didn't sink into me. All the focus that I used to give in the classroom when the teacher is taking whatever that sink, with that I cleared my schooling because I clearly remember when people used to sit and study overnight. I used to say we both used to start like by 9 o'clock. People used to sit for overnight study. I used to complete within half an hour. I used to say, okay, I am done. I'm going to sleep. Let me see tomorrow, like that. And I used to go. That's how the studies aspect was. But culturally, we used to spend a lot of time when I used to grow. In school, I used to ask for special permission and go for our dance practice, and we used to go out for zonal matches in volleyball. So that way, I used to spend a lot of happy times. I should say. So I used to be a athletic person also. I used to be. We used to spend time in this shot put sport and volleyball. These are something that I was spending my time with. And as I grew up, and when I touched my teens, bikes became very interesting factor for me. There was a lot of bikes which was going, and then that gave me an opportunity to own a bike. And yes, it is something that it's still with me as a companion. That bike which I bought 11 years ago, that bike is still with me. So this actually gave this. It rooted. This was a reason that I chose a career, whatever that I chose. That is when we all finished our 12th. That was the time we have to decide what we have to do for your future, and there was something like a consultation which was happening, and people were going there, and depending upon the score that you have taken in 12th, they will give you ideas and things like that. And I was not so happy about that whole process, and I felt this is the time you need to choose your life, what you need to do. So I just looked back what I was doing, and I was too much into culturals and bikes. So I was thinking either you need to do something which is really fast, or you go into automobile engineering so that you it will be more of your own,
Interesting.
field. Yeah, so that's how I thought. So the first option was speed. So I thought, okay, why don't you become a pilot? If you become a pilot, daily you will be experiencing this speed and takeoff and all those things. It was kind of a fascinating idea for me. I didn't know truly about anything about piloting. I know that it is something of a Porsche and your life will be settled. That's what people are looking for. Okay, I thought, okay, if I become a pilot, my life is settled. That's how I thought, and I chose that field. And yes, I just told my parents first. Initially, I wanted to become a fighter pilot. So I told my parents, "Oh, how about me becoming a fighter pilot?" Then they were like, "Oh, no, no, don't go into army and all like that." They were little tensed about that idea. But they said, "How about becoming a civil pilot? You can become a civil pilot." I was like, "Okay, no problem. I can very much take as long as there is speed. I'm okay with it." So it started like that, and I got into a flying club, and my whole process of commercial pilot training started. People when used to tell me now that you have wasted your investment and all those things, but I used to say no, it's not so, because the experience what I got by being a pilot, as experiencing myself in the space, taking off and being in the third dimension altogether. That view that I had, that I flew in Bhubaneswar. So Puri temple and the shore is nearby. You can go to the shore and you can have a flight over there, and that view still there in my head. The way the clouds just stay in front of me, the way they arrange themselves, and especially during this rainy monsoon season when we used to take off, the way we see this whole rain clouds that used to be, they are vertical clouds that build up. And there were certain situations where we have seen patches of them. We used to go like, in between those clouds, and it was something that I would have never experienced. Either we could have seen such situations in video games, like in video games you may see such a visualization, but I happen to see this and witness this in real time scenario in my life. So something that this experience always be with me. So that way, piloting is still there. It's a very enriching experience for me in my life. And siblings, I have a brother who's autism by nature. So he's always a child for me and for my parents. Something that we always enjoy. The way he is, the way he shows his innocence, and because of his presence, a lot of important things have happened in my life too. So I always have a huge respect for him, and my parents, my father especially. He was as when I was a growing child. He used to be my friend. I converse with him a lot than with my age group people. I had a friend. I still have a friend who is very close to me. From fourth section, I grew up together with him. So till now, he is a very close friend. Apart from him, the next close friend, or before him, when I was growing as a child, I had my father as a friend who always accompanied me through this journey. He kept my the relationship was very good with him all the time. He keeps me like a friend, and he always likes me to call by his first name. So, sorry. Mm. So he always liked to call him by his first name. So I always call him, and he kind of enjoyed this. From my childhood, I used to call him Ramani or Somu like that. He, so he used to enjoy this. Until now, he is enjoying this process. I used to treat him like a friend. the whole relative community, they used to say, why are you calling your mother like that? Why are you calling your father like that? I said, it's okay. They are okay. I'm okay. So it's such a beautiful thing for me. They kept a nice atmosphere for me when I was growing up. So this is my childhood, I could say.
It's so progressive, your parents. I feel like because one child you said is like autistic, and I think it's very hard in terms of it is how you look approach to the life. I feel it's if you see it like it's a challenging thing for parents and to take care and do all this stuff, and they've given you so much of freedom. I think that is such an appreciable thing. I feel, yeah. But talk about your mother. How is she? And like a usual mothers we have, like she was a homemaker. And what does your father do as a job profession? And
So, yeah. So both were working. And surprisingly, if you see the way I chose the job, it will all be very linking. My father was working in bus, this. There is a state board of state bus corporation, which is
okay,
called as MTC, Metropolitan Transport Corporation. He was working there in the office aspects, and my mother was working in railways. So she was also working as a clerk in the railways aspect, in the railways association. So I was choosing becoming a pilot. So we both were having some kind of transportation all the time with us. So that's how they used to say, identify us. Okay, that's a transport family like that. So mom, she was a working woman. She was a person who was actually a reason for many sophistication in our life. The way she designed herself, the way her life was designed, was one of her basic sophistication for our life, I would say, definitely. And even I used to speak with my father. Father used to be very open about this with me that our life was elevated in many ways because of how my mom was working, the way she was in a state government job and all. And in many aspects like my commercial pilot training and so many things was possible because of what my mom's percentage was really high in that. And she was a working woman, and she takes care of the family also in a very the best way she can take. She always have very innocence with her. She till now a good thing about her, or I don't know whether it's a bad thing. She never have till now. She don't have a credit card or a debit card. She's such a person who always like to go old school. She go to the bank and she used to withdraw money from there, and she feels that is safe. And we are now telling, especially during this Corona times, we used to say it could have been better if you would have had a card. Now see, we have to go to the bank and we have to take, and it's not very easy thing like that. But till now she is like. That's how simple she is. She just goes with it, and we are kind of okay with it too. The innocence that she always hold with herself. It's something that I learned a lot about from my child, from my mom. She just says this: "If you say anything, I believe." That's how innocent she is. So this is something that my father's quality was completely different. He was like a friend to me. My mother was more like a little sister to me. Till now, it's like that. I kind of give her instructions and keep myself always above her, and in that way, and she also kind of embraces that particular relationship like that. She kind of always very comfortable with that the way I am with her, even though in the group of people when the way I speak with her, my mom's age group people get very you know
offended.
uncomfortable. Why this person is speaking like the way he's speaking, especially when I was a kid. I used to speak like directly, like The way, if it's my own age group, how I will speak, that's how I speak with her. And she was like kind of okay with it. But always I had this issue when I was growing up. My relations, why are you speaking like that? You have to treat your mother with respect. I said, those things never occurred to me. Like, I feel very comfortable and they are comfortable. It just goes like that. So till now, I used to tell that it is a sister kind of a relationship. It's more of a sister-brother kind of relationship than a mother. Of course, whenever I need something, I used to go and beg, "Mom, I need this, I need that." But then once that is done, once again I take up my position and and it will be back. But it's a joyful process. When I do that, they also enjoy that. Actually, they want that. If I become little not speaking or something like that, then they will come and poke me. Come on, talk to me like that. Especially in the recent times when I started meditating, I started spending a lot of time with myself. So they all became little, why this guy is not the way he is before. So it was nothing within me. I was only focusing on a little other aspects of life. But initially, they were like little thrown away by the whole process of yoga. They didn't know about anything else. It's just the intensity that they saw with me. Daily getting up in the morning, going to the terrace, and spending time with myself, and the way I eat, the way I sleep, everything, the whole lifestyle, and I changed. It kind of shook them. But the general perception that my mother especially had was these things are for someone, especially not for her family. It was something like that. Anyone, she can hear it from a story, but she never expected this to happen in her life. Like her own son will become very spiritual and do things that she generally offered me, something like a bed. She wants me to sleep in a bed. But the moment I did all the spiritual thing. The first thing that I changed in my room was I lifted the bed and I kept it vertically and I slept it. I want space for my sadhana. So that was taking a huge space. The bed was taking a huge space. So I just lifted that, and my mother felt so bad about it that this guy just went like this, like that. But it took some time for her to see the changes within me, the stability that I was showing them, and for them to see, it took some time to get that assurance that I'm with them, because they were only feeling I was going away, but it took some time for them to understand that I'm with them. So mother was really very a sentimental aspect of my life.
Right. So are you staying with them right now or this?
So presently, I have taken a separate home for myself, where I got an opportunity to establish my yoga center. So I just found like a place which is like in a 5 kilometer radius for me to go and come. So it was all given to me. So I just thought, okay, I'll just create a dwelling for myself near that yoga studio. So that's why I just keep myself little far away. And it is there is a certain situation in my family where my brother, as being an artisan, becoming a little bit of you know too secure about his space. He wanted me to little, because I was not spending time after my 10th, 12th. After completing my school, I was mostly outside. I was in Bhubaneswar for 4 years, and then I was going for work. So a lot of time I never spent with him after I grew up. So he kind of started owning that place. The home means he wants to be alone. So if I come in, he feels little insecure probably. Then so mother said, okay, it is okay that if you want to stay outside, otherwise he will create a lot of problem for you. So I thought, so that was also a reason. But otherwise, I could have stayed in my home. That's why I said my brother was a very important reason for me. He was a reason where my life changed. Otherwise, right now I'm staying alone. I'm cooking my own food. Every aspect of my life is taken by myself, actually. So, yes.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and the parents and your sibling, it's very so. Like so, after completing your pilot thing, did you did the job, and how was the experience of it in that field, like private piloting? So, how was your experience?
Okay, so it's not actually private. It is actually commercial pilot which I did. There are two things. Even I did private pilot licensing course, but commercial pilot is what is I did, and yes, that was it's a big story. But to just sum it up, um, many things happened during my training. Even my relationships, it started it started off from my pilot training course. And yes, initially the goal was to establish myself as a pilot and get into an airline and then live a posh life and get yourself a BMW car and a house on your own. And this is how my life generally was. That's how the thought process was, at least in my head. And of course, internally, nothing has changed. The same sophistication is there. But I'll tell you how it is relating to me now. That's how I started, and I had a friend who was traveling with me, and who turned out to be my life partner as well. And we were like friends when we started off, and she was a gynecologist actually, and she was a friend's of friend when I was doing my pilot training. That's how that is one aspect when I was doing this pilot training course. So once I completed my pilot training, I that was a time when this aviation field was also sinking down. You know, the Kingfisher. There was an airline called Kingfisher, which went down that time, and the whole aviation field was going down, and the pilots from Kingfisher airline was going into the other airlines, which kind of stopped our. New pilots will not be able to enter in now because old pilots were going into those aspects, those recruitments. So we were not able to get that rich feel of getting into a airline. It became very, very difficult. So took to ground jobs like ground staff. I became like a ground staff with Indigo. So that's how I started off. I was waiting for one year, trying to go into an airline, trying to see the scope. Then looking at it, it's not working the way I thought it will work. And by that time, my relationship was also growing, and I was thinking, okay, after completing this, I will get into, uh, you know, become a pilot and then get married, and that's what it was, because I already set my married life and it was ready for me to establish. And it was a really stable relationship that I got during this training. And yes, after this I chose to become a ground staff, and yes, it was fine. It was I was very happy all the time. I enjoyed my life even as a ground staff. Whatever that I was doing, I was enjoying. And one thing how I enjoyed was food. I was a big foodie. I used to be 75, 85. I was going there. I used to be a big person. Uh, Wherever there is a food offer, we used to see this. There used to be something like coupons. So if there is an offer, we go there, and we used to have a big lunch there, like buffet. And I used to have a very good relationship with my colleagues. I happen to spend a lot of time with my manager, so we used to have a good time there. And yeah, that's how.
The ground, where was it? It was in Chennai itself, or it was in some other place?
Yes, it was in Chennai. I was I located myself in Chennai because everything was fine there. Only when I had to go for any kind of training, that was the only time I stepped out of my house. After this commercial pilot, I came back to my home and I was spending time in my home. So it was a very enjoyable time, I would say, or important aspect of food. Like, going across Chennai and cinema, food, all these things happened when I was actually working for this 2 years. I actually was working for 2 years after completing my commercial pilot training. I was working with Indigo. So that was something I enjoyed my life that time. Cinema and food was something that was happening in a major full flow. It was happening every day. I used to go out and enjoy, and the whole cycle was different. Right now, I'm comparing myself. Right now, I used to be in night shifts and all those things used to happen. But right now, it's in a proper way. The lifestyle happens. I wake up early in the morning and I sleep on time. Right now, it's a different thing compared to that. That was a lavish lifestyle, I should say. So,
So you
yeah.
were talking about some relationship you had. So would you like to talk about it? Uh,
Yeah, definitely. Uh, it is something that which was really enriching in my life. So many things happened, and to just sum it up once again, it's a big story in my life, but it's a very important story also that kind of brought me to track wherever that I am. Relationship was that one aspect was really an important aspect of my life. Yes, it all started from my pilot training. I met her. She was a friend of friend, and and then we became friends. So it started from there. And when I completed my training, we thought okay to make it really into a serious relationship, and then we come to a serious relationship, which means for life. We thought okay we can do this for life, and then we just took it forward. Yeah, it was really good. She being a doctor and many things were especially when it comes to we were able to design our life better. Even though I was not able to establish myself, she was able to establish herself as in her field. Things were happening the way she thought it is supposed to happen. So we were able to set up our foundations properly, and it all went fine. It all went fine up to me, uh, you know, getting into the aspect of yoga. So when I got into yoga, it was 2016. So until then, I was telling, I will become a pilot, and all those things were happening. That's how the trajectory was. But the moment I was actually jumping between two jobs, and there was a lot of stress which is happening in my head because now that I have to get into a job, and even that job was not very easy because even if I get into this piloting, I'll have to spend around 20 lakhs to once again get my type rating, and then there is a certain toll of money which will go initially. There is a certain investment which will go, and I've already invested a certain money in that. It's like we have invested like around 30 lakhs once already, and I have to invest once again 20 lakhs to get into that particular thing. So that difficulty was always there because we have to get there. You need to invest that money, and once again that money, whatever that we are investing, it is our parents' money. We don't have to waste it because I really feel already I have spent a lot of money, and nothing has come out in return. We're still doing some other things which is not giving that return that which I was expecting. So I was going through a stress. I had to do this. I have to make this successful like that, and I was doing everything. And I used to be like a topper when I used like in my pilot training. I completed everything, like all every aspect. I tried to excel because in piloting you have to excel. You cannot do anything less than 70%. If you are cleared, which means you have excelled. You are above 70, then only you can become a pilot. So I was on that line. In my schooling, I didn't do this, like this. I was a weak student, but in my pilot training, I was a brilliant student because something that it is my own thing, right? I liked it, and so I was excelling on whatever that I can do, and yeah, people were actually encouraging me. You're doing great, and I used to coach people also. So that's how I used to be there. So the relationship aspect, especially when I saw this yoga, the yoga kind of gave me a clarity. That's how I would say, and people were afraid of this clarity. That's how I can see right now because nothing else changed. All I was doing was I was getting up in the morning, I was doing my yoga, and there was a certain clarity in my speech, and people were feeling it. Wow, what? Not wow. They were only feeling something has happened. How can you become like this? And they feel this guy will become like a sadhu sannyas. That's how they are thinking, but they couldn't see my clarity. So that's how it was, and even she became very insecure of thinking that I will leave the relationship and I will go like that. I said, no, no, don't think like that. I shared all my experience to her, the way I felt after yoga, how clear I am, and I really feel because I was not able to articulate it properly like the way I can articulate today. That time I was a little confused, but then I'm very happy. And the first thing was that I was spending very less time with her because I used to spend a lot of time in phone with her. When I started yoga, I was watching a lot of Sadhguru videos and a lot of things were happening. I kind of wanted to spend a lot of time there. So this kind of became a very insecure factor for both my parents and for my girlfriend. And of course my girlfriend and my parents were also in touch, so they all became in one line, and they were treating me differently. So yeah.
So how did Sadhguru happen here? Yeah. Yeah. How did yoga then? What do you mean by you mean in engineering Shambhavi Mahamudra or yoga practices that we offer now? So can you just
Yeah, yeah, that's it's supposed to be a Mahashivratri evening. My father told me, mm, Sadhguru is coming to college. Why don't we go there? Uh, in my head, I had no clue about. I never heard. Probably, I have never heard the word Sadhguru uh, too often. And my father told like this. Actually, the thing is, they are playing a live relay. It's not coming here, but there's a live relay. But my father told like Sadhguru is coming like that, and I'm feeling. I just told my father, see, I'm not interested in this stuff. Uh, he's also a man because that time I used to be a strong atheist, probably I should say. I'm not inclined towards cultural aspects. Even my mother, when she calls me for puja, I simply go to stand so that she doesn't get hurt. So
offended?
offended, yeah. My father just says, just come and stand. Your mom will be happy like that. Ah, okay. I just come and stand. Okay. I just did do this and I'll go. This is a part of the culture, and we
Hmm.
call like when Ganesh Chaturthi happens, I simply come and I put the flowers. No involvement. That's how I was. So when my father said, Sadhguru is coming, how about we both go and spend some time there? I said, see, I'm not that kind of a person. Please don't call me. And I kind of gave them a strong warning. And in future, I don't want this kind of invite. I don't really encourage these things. I'm not such a person. My father was like, oh, oh, okay. Okay, man, I will not, because that way of freedom that I had with my father, I kind of take a lot of liberty in expressing myself. So that's how it went, and that night, the Mahashivratri night started, and my usual night. It was like a usual night for me. In my home, in my room, rock song and beats and YouTube videos were happening, and around 11 o'clock, my father knocked the door, and he just opened and he said, hey, why don't you come? Why don't you come just for a minute? because they were looking at the live relay which was happening in the DD channel, DD Pudigai, which is there in our southern DD channel. They were broadcasting it live, and probably something interesting is happening, and they called me, and I just, okay, fine, I'll just let everything like that, because something is happening. My father's energy was like that. If you don't come immediately, you will miss it. So immediately I just went. Then I stood there. I was initially not knowing what is happening. Uh, there was certain sound, like that. There was some sound which was happening, and I can see people are like going crazy, or something was happening. People are, going through some kind of state which I was never experienced in my life, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm just standing there, and that is the first witness of the whole thing. And there is this person with the beard, and is doing the whole thing there. And the reason my parents called was, there are certain television actors who are also there in that meditation process. It was a meditation. Uh, it was like a midnight meditation. Towards a midnight meditation, they do a certain meditation. Right now I know it's actually Shambho meditation, but that time I didn't know. That time I just heard that sound, oh, like that. So, and I was just standing there, and they were showing all these things, and it was something which I don't know how to say, but it shook me. That's it. It just shook me, and I was standing for some time, and my legs started to pain. I felt okay, okay. I said, okay, you continue, and then I went inside my room. So this is what happened outside, but internally things were like this. I went into my room, and the song is still beating, and then I felt okay. I just paused it, and there was a certain quietness, and I kind of liked it. For the first time, I liked silence in my life, and I felt, what is that? Something's happening there, and I want to see that. But in the evening, I just spoke very harshly to my parents that now I can't go and sit there and see. That kind of ego started. I can't go and see. So what to do? Why don't we see in DD? DD should be there in online. Let me go and see it online. So I was trying it online, DD, Sadhguru, and all those things. I was trying with googling, and then I saw a lot of YouTube videos. I couldn't find that particular thing. I couldn't see that. I was not able to take part in that Mahashivratri event. But then I saw a lot of YouTube videos of Sadhguru. And then I saw there were a lot of questions. The questions, like, all the videos are in the form of
Questions.
And the questions that naturally I had within myself, where nobody had a proper answer. When I was a growing child, I used to have this kind of questions where, why are you doing this puja? What is this God thing that you are doing this? And the whole culture gave me a lot of questions. And the way they are doing it, it looked like a superstition for me. Why are there is so much superstition around us? Why are you doing this drishti and all? So many things that they do, which I had no logical answer to it. When there is no logical answer, I cannot take it now. So all those logical questions that I had within myself, general questions, when a child is being exposed to our culture, there will be like some certain general questions which will be a natural, pop up. And Sadhguru, he answered all those questions for me through a lot of inference too. It was not that he answered directly, but then he answered a lot of questions which kind of cleared a lot of things within me. And then I came to know what is this puja. I could actually kind of relate with it, that when he spoke about Panchabhutas, the five elements, when he spoke about that, then I could see how this puja has been done. Yes, there is a fire, there is water, there is earth, and there is space. We are doing something for space, and there is something which is relating to Panchabhutas that we are doing, and that is the first thing. This Panchabhuta is the first. Consciousness or awareness that I got from this puja that they are doing. because that is all I can see. I can see this Panchabhutas, that they are glorifying the whole Panchabhutas, and how glorifying it will nourish our life, and that is the whole process of puja, and I can feel, I can relate the whole thing, and the logical spark was happening. Yeah, this is the thing they are doing, and without knowing they are doing it, and it still works. The place is very vibrant, and I always stay in puja room. It actually happened to be like the puja room is my living area also when I was growing. So they come and they do puja and they go, and but I always sit with my laptop or desktop. So things used to happen like that. So that is the first encounter with Sadhguru that night. A lot of videos. Next day morning, I came and I told my mother, Mom, I need a copper vessel. She was like, "What? Copper vessel?" Because until then, you know, they know me like with the sipper bottles, a modern guy, something like that. I always sip bottles like plastic bottles, but now I'm looking for a copper vessel, and they were like, "Okay, what happened? Why are you asking that? That's the question." And I said, Sadhguru said, I simply said, Sadhguru told this, it's the best to drink water from copper. Oh, yesterday you were scolding him a lot and you were saying all these things. What happened today? I was like, that was a situation which I was like, oh, that's okay. Leave that aspect. now this is different. This guy is different now. I'm not able to tell that openly, but I'm like trying to put that down. Yeah, leave that aspect because it is kind of a humiliating thing that I did that evening, because what I got from him was really fascinating, because I was spending a lot of time in YouTube when during my preparation of these interviews and all. I spent a lot of time in YouTube because that is the only you know pastime for me. I was watching a lot of what is this cookery. There was this Gordon Ramsay. There's a person called Gordon Ramsay, and he has a lot of cooking shows which happens, and it kind of fascinates me with the way he treats and that kind of things I used to see. And there is something called Caesar Milan, and he's a dog whisperer. Yeah, there's a program called Dog Whisperer. So these are the serials that I used to watch back to back, and that was I used to spend a lot of time in YouTube. But when I saw this kind of information, this kind of information is also existing in YouTube, which never came in front of me. And because I searched Sadhguru, it came in front of me, and I was able to see that. So I felt I wasted a lot of time. This kind of information is there in YouTube, and I never saw this. And this kind of intrigued me and interested me to see a lot of videos. And that 1 month, March fully, I was only watching Sadhguru's videos daily, daily. I used to see something or the other, and I reached a point where the information was repeating. Okay, because now I'm looking all the videos, I've already seen that video. So that's how it was coming. I reached that point. And the yoga practices that I started was that free practices which was offered those times. Those time, even now it has been offered, but those time it was offered like yoga for love, yoga for peace, yoga for joy, like that. It was all separate module. It was not in one single the way it is right now. That time it was all separately there, and I just clicked whichever came my way, and the order was like completely different. What has to be done last I was doing first, and then I was doing things like that, but I was still doing yoga. So one day, like one of my commercial pilot friend called me and asked, okay, how is your preparation happening? I said, I'm doing yoga. Then he said, okay, really, who's this, who's your teacher? I said, Sadhguru. Sadhguru is my teacher. Then he said, oh, is it inner engineering? He said. Then I was not knowing about inner engineering. I was doing Upa and I thought that is big yoga. And I was telling, no, I'm doing Upa like that. And within me, I felt like Upa is something big. And yes, I do like that actually. I go up and I sit and I do meditation, and and that is very difficult because I cannot sit properly. That 5 minutes, whatever that I spend, I feel I did something really big, and I come down and I used to watch Sadhguru's video, and that's how I started. Then he introduced inner engineering very accidentally. Then I searched inner engineering. Then I came to know that this is a program which is being conducted, and I was just looking forward for it. I want to do it now because I kind of got saturated with the videos, and I want something more. And somewhere I was not getting this satisfaction of completion was not happening. Somewhere Sadhguru, he has created a certain curiosity within me, but he has not given me the whole thing online. He speaks about inner engineering, he speaks about fulfillment, but the tool is not available. And I was, I'm looking forward for that. Where is that main thing that can satisfy me or put me through the track? I'm looking for, like, unknowingly, that is the reason where I'm exploring. I'm still exploring. It's not that that online exploration is not stopped. So it all started with my friend accidentally saying, even he was not an inner engineering practitioner. He just did that practice, and he has left it. But then he knew that word. But because he uttering that word inner engineering, once again my exploration started, and I found a nearby center and I did this. And April, April is March 2016. March 16 was I got introduced, and April I did inner engineering. And in the engineering process, I came to know that I cannot sit. I cannot sit in one place because I was by that time I made around 85 kgs. That's how big I was, and sitting on the floor was a huge challenge. Throughout the in engineering process, I kept my legs out and uncomfortable, just hearing to Sadhguru, but I was just dancing throughout that place. So my only aim was that I should become in such a way that once again I will come for the engineering program. I will sit fully like this, like fully. I want to become like that, where body will not be an issue for me. So
I think people don't understand the joy of it, the simplicity. What Sadhguru says means what intrigued me, it was the way he used to sit, the way Sadhguru sits, Still, there is no compulsion, there is never a compulsion of doing something, other than fully there. So I think that is also one of the first things which I always wanted out of this course as well. Simply sitting. That's all. I think that's a huge thing, right?
yeah, yeah, and especially when he spoke about Shiva, when he spoke about Shiva sitting for months on end simply, then I came to know I am nothing. I cannot sit for 2 minutes properly. Shiva is sitting for months on end without a movement in his body. And Sadhguru here in front of me, he is sitting like for hours on end in front of me, and there is no shake. And I am struggling here. I am not able to sit properly. And he is sitting properly, and he is talking about Shiva who can sit for months on end. So these things kind of put me on a. I could understand that something was terribly wrong with me. I can clearly see I should do something about myself. Otherwise, I could clearly see I was not living in my optimum stage.
Mhm.
So that kind of gave me the path.
So then you did an inner engineering, then you must have done the whole mandala and everything, and that you must have experienced Shambhavi. So
Yeah, definitely. It was mm, that mandala. One mandala was a very struggling mandala for me because 20 minutes, the process which they taught was a 21 minutes process. The 21 minutes for me, if I can sit 21 minutes, it's a big thing. That's how 21 minutes, if I complete, immediately I, come out. That's how I was doing that practice. But within me, a lot of changes was happening. That was there, definitely. That is the reason I am the way I am today. There was a change which was happening slowly, slowly. And I could clearly see that I need to work upon my body. I could clearly see that. And the food, before even going into the inner engineering program, there was a book written by Sadhguru called Food Body. And I happened, because I was exploring every aspect of what Sadhguru is offering, there was this free ebook which was offered online from Sadhguru's Isha Foundation website. So I downloaded this book and I read this whole book, and I started implementing the way Sadhguru told to eat. So I brought in a lot of vegetables into my diet. So I started with boiled vegetables. Whatever my mom is cooking, I stopped eating rice. I started eating a lot of vegetables in my diet. And before even going into inner engineering, I kind of started eating this food. So from there itself, the food aspect started for me. Before even going, there was a little bit, I can say, preparation has started, but still body was not settling down. It was I was finding it too hard because of certain rigidity which is already been built in the body. And then came a 21-day program. They announced a 21-day program, and they told what are the programs that Isha is offering. And all those programs, all the Hatha Yoga programs will be offered in 21 days. That kind of, once again, it intrigued me. And I felt, okay, if I go into this 21 days, I can get everything. So why don't I do this? But then I never spent 21 days out anywhere other than my commercial pilot course. So this is something really new for yoga, 21 days, and I was little hesitant to admit. And also, I'm living with my parents. I had to take that decision, and I was not having that liberty, or I was not having that freedom to freely do that. And I was thinking, okay, what to do? Okay, I just kept it. I don't know, maybe interview may come on that time and I have to go for an interview, or so many things are happening in my life, and 21 days is also coming. And yes, it happened to be, I, because the last 3 days of the closure of the registration for 21 days, as I showed some interest towards in 21 days, they called me and they told that, we have only 3 seats left. And yes, there were 3 seats left. I saw my name in the last three, in that list, I saw my name in the last three actually. So they told that only three things are there. 3 seats are available. If you want, you can take it in. So I immediately took a call. Yes, okay, I want it, and I just took it. And one of meditator Akka, she also took that 21 days, and we both planned to go together. And knowing this, my girlfriend, why are you going? You are going 21 days to an ashram? No way, like that. That's how she was. And I used to use her account for IRCTC, and I told that and I'm going for this 21 days, and I'm going with an akka, and these things are all new for her. And you know what she told? She told, please go and check the email. Uh, it was a little surprising because I told to check her the email, and she is telling me to check the email. I thought she cancelled the ticket or something, and I went and I checked. Then I saw that she also coming. She also put the ticket to Coimbatore. I was happy, and I was like, oh really? You're also joining like that? Because till then I completed in engineering, but she did not do in engineering. The whole thing she was telling was, I want to see what you witnessed, what is making you do all these things. I'm not having a clue, but out of she was
Curiosity.
curiosity, yeah. And she said, I want to know what you have learned, what you have seen that you're doing all these things. Then I told, see, for that, you should not directly come into Hatha Yoga. You should do this inner engineering process that I have done. And I told her, I will give you this, I want you to gift this process. So before coming to this particular process of 21 days, you go and do this 7 days of inner engineering program. And I kind of made her do that. She convinced herself. I convinced her, and she was also convinced. And she was in Lucknow, and she went to Delhi and she did this program. And from there, after completing this 7 days of inner engineering, she came directly to Coimbatore. And actually she came to Chennai, and we both went in a car journey, because I want to make it little adventurous. So I thought, okay, we both will go, and we both actually went together, and we did 21 days program in ashram, and it was really my body weight reduced drastically in the 21 days, the way I never thought possible. That's how I came out. When I came out, I had a kind of all what you call six packs and all those. Body is ready for all those things, and which now my aim was not that. When I was aiming for that, it didn't happen, and now I didn't aim for that. And because I have set certain foundations, because I used to go for gym and all, foundation was set. And after yoga, things just got compressed, and I was getting my dream body, and I'm not looking for that now, but it happened as a consequence. As a consequence, body was getting into a good shape, and I was then able to sit properly. That was a good thing. Now my sadhana was able to, happen in a full flow. Shambhavi Mahamudra happened in full flow, and I was very happy with that time. And even that got saturated after a point. Then I wanted to do something else, and then I did Bhavaspandana program, and after Bhavaspandana, because this longing to know what it is, because body is now fit. Now I still want to know what it is. I'm not got it. What Sadhguru is talking about, the life that he is talking about, it's not in my experience. I am still a bundle of thoughts and emotion, and I want to experience something. And that longing gave me, route to Bhavaspandana. After completing Bhavaspandana, I was completely thrown away, and okay, life can happen like this too. We can see life in this aspect also, and it slowly grew in me. It slowly kind of.
Experience of an ashram, because you for 21 days, like you did not talk about that. Like first time when you went to an ashram, how did you experience? But like when I went to ashram, what was first thing is not Dhyana Linga or Linga Bhairavi or anything. How the people were and how they were going down and doing namaskar. This is the simple thing, uh, which actually touched me so deep than other things I felt, because for feeling other things, your body has to be ready to understand Dhyana Linga, to Devi or anything. I feel like there is some kind of. So what is when you went to ashram? How did you felt ashram for the first time and afterwards? So
Uh, yeah, regarding this namaskar process that people always do in Isha, this I actually witnessed in the 7-day program in my local area itself. People, when I stepped in, they do this. I felt, oh, what is this? I don't know what to do like that because normally people handshake, and here means that's how we have been brought up. Handshake is the new culture, and namaskar is a very old culture. That's how I thought, and they are doing now. Namaskar is something that they are doing, and I got settled actually there itself. I got settled, and I know that okay, Isha means Namaskaram is something that happens, and people are really down to earth. This is was always there, but when I stepped into ashram, to my surprise, I met one Swami actually, and yeah, yeah. I met that Swami before coming to ashram in a Ujjain trip. I went to this Mahakala. There was this Ujjain Mahakala, which happens every year. What is that? Kumbh Mela. Yeah, that was the first Kumbh Mela. I used to keep my cycle because when it comes to Ujjain, once again, my 12-year cycle is being completed. So that is the first Kumbh Mela which I went, and there I met one Swami. And that Swami I saw when I stepped into ashram, I saw that Swami and he welcomed me. Actually, I never thought, I thought, okay, Swami means they will be of a certain kind. But Swami welcomed me, and he took me actually into his. He was working in there is an office down to the Surya Kund Mandapam. He took me there, and I didn't know someone can give me so much respect, and I was like, okay, Swami. I just came back, and he said, this is my office working place, and I'm taking care of. He took me in and he showed me his working area, and he said that he is taking care of the Hindi publications of, I think Saundari Lahari, or I don't know, that there's a like Forest Flower, that's an Hindi publication, and he's taking care of that, it seems. And he said, and he just spoke with me, and he told, how a body can become with Hatha Yoga, and this is something that it's a huge embrace for me in a place where I don't know anyone. I just met him once in the Ujjain Kumbh Mela, and I saw Swami. Swami, do you remember me? I met you there. Then he just took me along with him. So that embrace is always there. When I went there, even the very atmosphere is embracing. When you go there, nobody is actually treating us like how they normally treat us outside, because the place is filled with volunteers. Yes, right now there are a lot of security issues are happening, and we ourselves right now, when we go to ashram, we used to go through a certain rigid scale of things right now to keep the security aspect on. But always in temples, in every aspect of the points where people come, there will be a volunteer, and that volunteer is the living force. Right now I can clearly see a difference between a paid worker and a volunteer. Both are doing the job there
Same thing.
together, but the way they smile, because they are not doing it for money. It's clearly they are sitting there not for money. They have been given a job, or they have been given a particular activity, and they're doing it very wholeheartedly. And uh, and it has been seen, when you go, you never see such a hospitality anywhere.
Yeah.
Even I was into this hospitality field, that is airline. Airline, when you go into an airline, how they have been trained to do such things. So here they have not been trained. It is coming from within, and they are pouring themselves out. That is the main thing, right? People are just pouring themselves, and when they are doing this namaskar, and you are naturally, there is, even the rock will melt. And I was a rock, to say. I was I was, as Sadhguru says, I was a hard nut. I was when I saw all these things, naturally I became very, down to earth. And I was exploring and exploring and exploring various aspects of whatever was happening there, because initially I was not open to all those things, whatever setup was there, like Janalinga or Linga Bhairavi. I was just going and introducing myself there to that space, and I was just sitting and trying to do whatever Sadhguru has told. But it all slowly grew in me, that my body was able to align myself comfortably, sit, and that's how I started seeing. But the 21 days, the first thing was the food, which is being offered in Bhiksha Hall. That kind of changed me, and the energy that I was feeling, no lethargy, no, all the time active, all the time walking, my muscles all the time aching. So, so it is something that there is nourishment and there is pain. Both are happening. So it's more like uh, what to say. It's a very safe environment, I would say. You
Yeah.
can. I'm going through a. It's more like when we go to this amusement park, there used to be this dashing car. You can dash anywhere, nothing will happen. Like that, the ashram, you can do anything. So many things are happening there, but it's under a protected atmosphere. So that's how it was for me. My body was going through pain.
I think you have said like very beautifully. Like I want to also share like little bit about it. Like I told to my husband when I came after the course that it is some place where any Isha volunteer, if I meet or if I'm in Isha, or it's such a safe atmosphere where there is no differentiation. There is no, not even of a caste, a color, or a agree, or anything about not even a gender, and only place I witnessed till now, which is such an equality in all sense, not in one sense, but in terms of all sense. And you don't have to change yourself, not even have to tie your hair properly or dress properly. You don't have to do anything. You can just be there the way you are, and nobody will judge you. In their eyes, there is no judgment, which in society, even you sit for a 5 minute, everybody is observing what type of clothes you wear, how are you talking, everything has been looked upon, and you can see in people's eyes always it's there. But you know it's such a national, it is not with every Isha volunteer. I feel like that, maybe they would be not be the same for other people, but when it comes to Isha, I think I can see that change. Do you agree with it? Yeah. Do you think it
Yes,
is? Yeah.
yes, definitely, especially people in ashram, because there is no mirror. Firstly, you cannot do anything for yourself. I remember I just be like completely because I don't have a mirror. I don't have to do anything about it. All I need to do is just take a bath, and there is this tirtha kund. I go there. I go like everything is very natural. A person can be in their natural form. You don't have to do anything to actually satisfy another person.
Person, yeah.
And especially if you are all by yourself there and nobody of your circle is there, you are completely on your own. Nobody is, the minimum we keep there, the maximum you enjoy that space. The more we establish ourselves there with people, once again, yeah, the things may happen, or it may take some time to once again be free, because the one good thing is when we meet people there, we meet people when we are free, when we are in our natural form, when we are not done anything presentable for a, we are like in a raw form, like a raw life simply, and they see us like that, and they accept us the way they are, like we are. And because the relationship starts because from that raw form, so they accept the way we are. And everywhere, wherever we go, so people, they just take us with our own compulsion, limitations that we have, especially when we are just stepped into Isha. We know that so much limitations are there within us, so many things they say, which when they say, I feel, oh, this how I will do this, how I can do this. And especially when any kind of games, or when they are asking me us to share and all. And this is something that I always I had to break myself to do that. It was, I used to be a very closed person. I cannot speak with people like this. And and this kind of Isha opened me in many aspects.
So, like after doing Bhav Spandana, you did Shunya then afterwards?
So,
After
already I was having a practice of 3 hours Hatha Yoga practices, and Shambhavi Mahamudra. Already it was coming for 3 hours. Sadhguru has told 4 hours. In Hatha Yoga practice itself, he has said if you invest 4 hours per day throughout, for the next 12 years, the nourishing of this life is a natural consequence. It will happen naturally. And I was already putting that 4 hours. I was doing all the practices from Upayoga, Bhuta Shuddhi, until Shambhavi. It will happen like 4 hours will I will spend 4 hours, and I was saturating there. Once again, I am doing 4 hours and I'm still not happy now. Now, in the sense, I want more. I want to do this more. And what was that next thing that Sadhguru is offering? And Shunya. Shunya was the next thing. And actually, I was not inclined towards that until I got this feeling that, okay, now you can explore that. Go and see what it is. You're doing Shambhavi regularly, you're doing it twice a day, and you're reaching a certain point where you're not, you want to go out, I want to really see what is there next. That aspect, my internal being is like, okay, next, let's go. So that gave this eagerness gave me to explore Shunya. And yes, Shunya was something my health, the general constitution, all this was taken care by the Sakti Kriya and Shunya practices. Health was never an issue after that program. My health became really, really concrete. Like, health cannot be down year after. It became like that. That's how the tools were, which was given by Sadhguru through Sakti Kriya. I could see. Initially, I could not understand what that process is. But one thing I could see was my body was becoming a strong, robust, and physically I was getting into a very, my immune system, everything was becoming very strong, and I can see, okay, there is a certain difference. And Shunya was something that I was experiencing, or I was trying that practice, and I was just doing that. This was the practice that I was with. After that, for after 1 year, I was just doing these practices. After Shunya, I was not doing any other practice, because there was the next practice is Samyama, and Samyama was not offered in the upcoming year, as Sadhguru was having a very busy schedule, and Samyama was not offered, and I was waiting for that. Next thing was Samyama. So in the meanwhile, I joined. I was volunteering for you know Hatha Yoga school, Hatha Yoga studio, and I was doing my sadhana there. And then I did Samyama. And the following year, 2018, I did Samyama. So a lot of things changed.
Would you like to talk about Samyama?
Yeah, definitely. The way I have been given, or the sequence of events that happened before Samyama, are very life-changing uh, events in my life. My As I was telling you about my fiance or my girlfriend there. Mm, yeah. So we came to a point, I was into a serious sadhana, and I was trying to get into some job. As during this 21 days, I skipped one interview also, which was about to come for me. But I felt yoga is something that I have taken and I really want to explore, and I cannot keep an interview process that time, and it was a second round of interview. But then I thought, okay, I can do that later, I will do that later, but I want to complete this 21 days, because this is an opportunity which I will not get. That's how I felt, and I took that in. And I was trying to do this job, and interviews and all was I was trying to get into it. And yoga, by that time, yoga grew in me like anything. I became like completely, the food, the sleep, the way I'm living, everything got changed. The whole cycle went into a clean, the way it is supposed to be. And that kind of threatened everyone around me. And I had to take a call now, because I have a relationship with me, and I have a yoga right now, which is actually blasting a lot of things within me. So I had to take a call now, because my girlfriend, who is, we are about to get married. So she wants me to get into, I was telling, well, how about me doing volunteering? I want to do a lot of volunteering. I want to spend time in Isha and do volunteering. Anyway, you are a doctor. It is okay that, we can take care of the life aspect. When it comes to money, I think it has been taken care. Is it okay? Is it okay if we go by that way? Is it okay if I go and do some service? If I volunteer, if I go to ashram and if I volunteer, is it okay for you? I asked. And she couldn't tolerate that idea of it, actually. She just couldn't tolerate. And she was having tears in her eyes when I said this, and she was telling, I expected a pilot and all this. How will I speak to my parents about this? And this is what she put out in front of me. And then I saw the situation. Then I thought, okay, fine. uh, I thought, okay, I'm ready to give up yoga. I will give up yoga. I will get into some job, and I will do whatever that, because I have taken this for my life. It is because of you, that is, I got the stability. when when she was there in my life, as a fiancé, as a girlfriend, as a companion, as a life partner. So many things were taken care for me. I was very stable at that particular time because I was having a stable relationship. I was very stable within myself. And she is the main reason for that. Because of her company, I was very stable within myself. My emotional aspects was taken care. So I will. That was always there because after Sadhguru, this was this one thing because being aware of what is actually happening because it became very apparent for me that the way you are, the way you are right now, the reason is because people are nourished you like that, and I don't want to put them down. And I thought, okay, it is okay if you are not able to do yoga, but you have to take care of her. And then I thought, okay, fine, I will go and do the job. I will get into some job and. Because piloting was also not happening very in a full fledged, as I thought, okay, let me get into some job, otherwise I will not earn, because it has become a period of like I think more than 1 year once again that I have not earned. So then I thought, okay, no yoga. I will come after 60 years because generally in this tradition, either you take yoga in 20 or you take in 60. That's how the general thing is. So I thought, okay, my yoga after all this life drama, I may get once again this opportunity at 60. I thought like that, and I just went with the flow. So I went to Delhi actually. Once again, I went to Delhi and I found myself a job. Once again, a dwelling for myself, and I started my job there. And
But you were doing your practices at that time, but still, like.
practices, yes, was there because I could see 8 hours of job and 4 hours of practice was not possible.
Mhm.
I had to keep myself little, here and there, whatever practice, a little bit of practice in the morning, and a little bit of practice in the evening. That's how I was doing, and I was trying to manage myself. But there was a huge turnover in my life. When I
Mhm.
went to Delhi, there was a huge turnover. Uh, by that time, my relationship was it reached 7 years, 4 years of friends, and sorry, 3 years of friends and 4 years of, in the relationship. So it was like that. And the third day for me, it was the third day in my employment. I got a call when I came back. I got a call from one of our employees saying that she met with an accident and she passed away. And that was something that you know I never expected in my life at that point of life when I was establishing myself as you know as a general citizens normally do, trying to get into a job. And I had a very clear cut view now how to establish myself in corporate world. I knew, okay, how I have to go, how I have to excel, how I can become a, assistant manager or a manager. Like that, I was having a whole view of how to establish myself and go forward. But the third day, third day, I'm getting this call saying that, she passed away. And the whole thing for me, I started this whole process I started so that I will be with her and do things for her the way she wants, because that's what she's expecting from me. But when she went, and of course I did all the other the last rituals, I took a train straight to Coimbatore Isha Center. I didn't even stay in my home that night. I came, I stayed that day and night. Once again, I took the train and I came to Isha Center. And I spent like 48 days in sadhana. A very intense sadhana I did. It was because normally I can clearly see that if yoga was not there with me, because normally when we fight, no, when in a relationship when we fight, which normally happens in my relationship, I mean, so there was a situation when there was almost like a breakup. When that happened, I know what I did. I directly went into a wine shop. I took alcohol, and that's how initially it happened before yoga. But here I am, lost the whole relationship, everything. Like everything came to zero. And I don't know. The body was waiting. body was simply waiting, but the emotion was going through a toll like anything. It's a turmoil that I went through, but still the body was just comfortably waiting for me to come back. And when I went to ashram, only thing which came, I think yoga is the stable platform over which I actually played that drama. If that whole thing happened and if I was not stable enough, I don't know how I could have handled it. That was something that shook me like anything. Yeah, and then sadhana, once again, I started very intensely because I now had no reasons to stay in Delhi or to continue whatever that I was doing, because immediately that point I felt no point of staying here. That's it. The very reason you came for Delhi is destroyed now. So you don't have to stay in Delhi and do things. Go back and once again I had no idea about what to do now. Now I came to ashram and I simply started with sadhana, and I did this Kalabhairav karma for her, and then I started with my sadhana. That's it. On and on. That's how that 48 days I touched around 64 cycles of Surya Shaktis and all. I was really doing very intense sadhana there, and I I came to a stabilization. I will not say full stabilization, but I was able to, 48 days I spent there, and I had to take a call once again. Should I stay in ashram or should I have to come out of ashram? Because that was once again because I don't have any reasons now. My family is like okay, and I don't have any commitment, and she is gone, and now I am alone. And am I going to, spend time in ashram? So the only thought that I had that time was, you came to ashram with some kind of pain with you. So now you are out of that pain. You have gone completely. There is no pain for you now. So you go out once again. This is how I spoke to myself. You go out once again. You spend some time in the world, and once again, if you really want to come back to ashram, you come to ashram, but in a very smiling and happily you come once again. You come to ashram happily, not with any pain. So keeping this thought, I went out, and going out, I just got an opportunity from our local center asking that because they all know that I do sadhana very intensely, or regularly I do my sadhana. So they gave me an opportunity to demo for a Hatha Yoga program. So this
Oh,
is how it started. Yeah. So I met a Hatha Yoga teacher, and she kind of wow, that is another turning point in my sadhana. Life had a turning point, and my sadhana had a turning point too. When I met a Hatha Yoga teacher, and she kind of fully corrected my practice. I was doing practice which got deviated in many ways. Many, like legs were going here and there where it has to go here. So many things were happening. So she kind of corrected that, and my practice took a different expression from there onwards. My experience on the practice was different, and that volunteering started from there. So
superb, Anna, superb. So then the seed of becoming a teacher started with you, because you were, as a demo person, you were sitting there, people experiencing, and you would be the part of the class. So that's when you decided. And how did now Hatha Yoga teacher training, if we can talk about that?
uh, yeah, definitely. When I was sitting there as a demo, they just told me, just go and sit there still. People will be there in front of you, just sit there still. And normally I will not sit still, but like if I sit like this, I make a lot of body movements or something normally happens naturally. But here I cannot do all those things. I had to sit still. And doing that process, I can clearly see there was something happening within me. And I used to tell people, I think probably my enlightenment will happen in a demo table because then every time I go and sit there, when the instruction comes and when I stand there and I do the demonstration, oh my God, that was something that I always look forward for. When every Saturday, Sunday comes, there will be a Surya Kriya session which will be happening. And I always look forward for that session. Like, it will be a 3 hour session. And it was an explosion for me. I see people coming normally and going out with some tools. And the precision with which Hatha Yoga teachers take the session. And I happened to be with a foundation quality teacher who had a certain clarity and precision about the delivery of everything. So I normally thought that's how a teacher should be, or that's how every teacher will be. I just thought like that, and I spent time not knowing that I'm actually spending time with a gem of a person. I didn't know that actually, but she is definitely a gem of a person, and yeah. So I spent time with them, and they kind of rooted this, you know, before even coming to this training, I know all the instructions. It was always going when I know, okay, what is the next thing that they will tell, not by memory. Simply I know that okay, next this will come and Akka will tell this, and I'll have to do this, and I'll have to show this demonstration and all those things. So I was with them for around 18 months. After this process, I was just being with them. I got involved into that process, and it was really a very fascinating journey for me from there. You know, a lot of exploration was happening. They were doing a lot of exploration. They were going into, oh, you know, apartments, and they are fixing up stalls. You know, normally stalls will happen for any kind of restaurants, or real estates, or any kind of showcase. They keep a stall in any kind of a function. The stall used to be there, but for yoga we were doing a stall, and we are selling yoga there. But you know how we are doing it? We are selling it with positive pranic foods. So those who are coming, we are selling this, we are giving this pamphlet, and we are selling this positive pranic food, like yogic food. That's how we are selling it, and that was a new experience for me. Yeah. So it all started from there, and yeah, after once again there was a time when I have to decide for my life, because once again I was saturating there wherever I was staying. Once again that regular thing was happening. I was doing my sadhana properly, getting my food, sleep, and sadhana, and the demonstration, taking care of the center, cleaning the center, everything. The management. They have given me the role of a management, and that's a really great opportunity that I had to manage a yoga center. So that was something that I was doing, and I can clearly see that I was reaching, once again, I was reaching a certain saturation point, because normally when I reach that point, I move forward. I just move forward. Something happens. Naturally, it happens. And not to forget that my sadhana also involved going to Shivanga. That is, I volunteer for Shivanga Sadhana also. So every month I go for Shivanga and I used to come. So that is my holiday time. So I asked them that I need this 3 to 4 days where I go for ashram, I go to climb and I come back. And other than that, I will be.
Is seven hills? Seven hills?
Yes, exactly. Every month I climb 7 hills and I volunteer for that actually. So
Every month now also.
yeah, yeah. No, not during this Corona time, because of they have locked it down completely. But it's once again it has started last year, last like 2 months. It's happening now. Now I will be going once again this Diwali. So yeah. So the
Interesting.
sadhana was like
So,
that.
how did this Shivanga? So, first time when did you went? And how many times till now you have went seven hills? I really wanted to talk about it because I know I've seen the pic of you, but I was going to ask you and you have brought it up. So, yeah.
I think we will just complete this training, teacher training, how it went. I will definitely
Okay.
will talk about
Okay.
that. Teacher training, yeah, once again, there was a time when I have to choose what to do. And, you know, certain situation happened in my life where I had to choose, to earn once again. I want to earn once again and have a living. So I thought if I have to earn, I will earn only through yoga. I don't want to go back to commercial piloting. So I thought that, and naturally, Hatha Yoga is something that Sadhguru is offering where we can also earn a living. So I took up to Hatha Yoga teachers training, and it was something which is really intense, which happened in my life. It never, I would have not gone through those intense life experience anywhere else if I would have not taken Hatha Yoga teachers training, and here I am.
Super, Vanna. Yeah. Now you can talk about Shivanga and Seven Hills.
Definitely. So after this 2016 Mahashivaratri, after getting introduced to Sadhguru, as I was into exploration after exploration of whatever Sadhguru is offering, so I reached a certain point where I did Shunya. After completing Shunya, in that 1 year, 2016, I completed up to Shunya, and I was into the practice, and the next practice was Guru Puja, which was there, which I did not give too much importance because I didn't know about what it is and what it's all about. So I just kept it like that. And Shivanga Sadhana was something that people were talking about because February is coming and Mahashivratri, once again the Mahashivratri is coming, and people are, that Shivanga and the Mahashivratri, the celebration, when the celebration mode starts in Isha, it just goes like wildfire. So I happened to hear about this Shivanga, and I heard what Sadhguru is, offering there and what we can get out of that. So naturally, once again, I want to explore that terrain. So I took up the sadhana, and I did that sadhana for the first time in 2017, and there I am every month climbing. Every month I think that is the first year I started 2017 February, and then onward, after witnessing that experience in Seventh Hill, I felt I cannot, because the first time when I went, they made me to sit only for 20 seconds because there was a huge crowd which was walking in back, and that's a small path. You have to sit and you have to get up and you have to come. You cannot sit there for like at least like 5-10 minutes also you cannot sit. And the 20 seconds changed me, like, from the whole thing, the whole experience. I never experienced such a space in my life. It was within 20 seconds I felt a stillness which I don't know if that is even possible for me. So I just once again, just
Talking of
like,
same place where Sadhguru left his body in the previous, previous life.
yes, exactly, that's a spot which is called Sadhguru spot in Seventh Hill.
Yeah.
So people, especially when Isha people, when they come, around 1,000 people they climb in one go. They climb thousand people will climb in one batch, and 1,000 people are coming in the back. Like, they are just coming back to back. You can't sit in that Sadhguru spot for more than 20 seconds. So people were like coming, and but it's a really powerful place. Just the mere physical intensity of the place is something that you cannot, miss. Physically it is very, it's like
Actually,
that.
it's that ladies can't go to that hill. So maybe I have to wait for 60 years and then I have to be climb.
I understand,
Yeah.
but mm, there are many other places also. I'm actually, after talking with a lot of women who want to go there, because when we go to such places, especially women, we want a certain welcome. Women should be welcomed into a certain place. Here, especially the culture right now, whatever they have set up, the swamis who are down there, when they see a woman, they will start to discourage her from going up, and a
No, no.
woman has to
I
really
think for that, I thought it was, because Sadhguru also said that it is not conducive up there for women, and I'm very okay with it. And hopefully, I'm thinking like even if I'm 60, I think body should not be an issue. So I would definitely able to. I want to explore that because definitely it is a place to be explored. So, yeah.
Definitely, you can. I know that being a Hatha yogi yourself, you will definitely have a body even at 60. I don't think body will be a problem for you. And in the meantime, I think there are a lot of other places like Kumara Parvat or there are certain other forms, other places. I'm still exploring it so that even women can go and find those places, experience those places. But generally what I feel is a man, a man who's like so hard within himself, being rooted as a man, place that intense, like Sadhguru's spot is needed for a man to put him down. I think women need not go through so much intense process to actually put herself down. The way woman is made and the way a man is made is a two different thing. No? A man is having a very strong personality to melt himself down, and for that kind of a personality, this kind of sadhana is definitely needed for him. So I'm talking about the intensity, the physical intensity, the way the clouds, the way the breeze, and it can literally lift off a well-grown man. It can lift off that person off physically. I'm telling. That's how intense, especially in this off season. If you go, the monsoon simply can throw you out. That's how intense the place is. And being a man, being that's what I'm saying. No, the one who thinks he's a man, who is really rooted himself as a man, need to go to those places to dissolve that personality. That personality will just get dissolved. For me, that is what has actually happened. That what I thought as I am, that kind of came down. I simply became life, simply as I'm also one of this, life on this planet, not having a very strong personality, because looking at that sheer intensity of life which is happening out there, then naturally you will come down. You have witnessed something so big, and this male ego will come down naturally. You will not have that. It cannot stand anymore. That's it. You see something bigger than you, then that's it. You will come to this form automatically. So women, I feel the other sadhana which Sadhguru is giving, naturally it's been, it will be very helpful for her physique and everything. It will be very good, and most importantly, I feel a woman must be, welcomed and, taken care properly, because otherwise I feel, she has to pass through that, people telling no, 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 but, still I have seen people still coming up, women still they climb, but then they are not so welcomed, and I feel little sorry for that. But I do all my best to make sure that they're protected and they're taken down, because we volunteer in that hill throughout Mahashivratri 3 times. We climb all the 3 days back to
Oh,
back. We climb, and oh my god, that's one hell of an experience. Because not everyone get that opportunity. Being a volunteer, I climb like I go up and I come down. I sleep. Once again, I get up in the morning, and once again I climb up. So it's like this opportunity normally people will not get, and this I used to like. I'm getting this in this volunteering for Shivanga. So actually, then forthcoming month after completing Shivanga Sadhana, I wanted to go once again, but I didn't know that Isha is actually taking, or Shivanga is actually happening. So I just prepared myself with all the food and everything, and I went, to climb the mountain. But when I went there, then I saw that there is one group of people who are getting ready, and then I went and I inquired with the head of that association, and then Anna was like very happy to take me in, and I told, I'm really happy to come every month. If you're going, I can definitely join in, because I already have my own food. I thought, I want to go up there. Then they said, no, no problem. You can join us. You can volunteer with us. And then I actually found this particular thing, and this is something that I do every month, and this also takes care of my physical, strength of the body and the immunity, everything, and the Hatha yoga, whatever practices that I'm doing, these two as a combination, it makes my body into a very good possibility. It's more like accelerating my sadhana. Every month I go and I accelerate myself, exposing myself to nature, intensity, Sadhguru spot, and yeah.
So now, if like after becoming an Hatha yoga teacher, now you are offering this wonderful, the tool which has been given to us, to the people. So would you like to talk about it? How is it going? And I know that you have done some collaboration also with a, Siddha or Ayurvedic doctor. So can you just talk about that aspect?
Sure. So after completion of our training, I came out, had no clue about how to start. So I was like, okay, because the main thing is I'm not having a space for myself. So I have to find that particular space where I can start. And luckily, I found a friend's terrace where I took my first class. Surya Shakti was my first class that I took, and that's how it all started. But it was not happen. It was not happening in a very good flow until Corona hit. So when the Corona came, when the Corona pandemic started, we were all like completely locked down, and I was fine by myself. Like I was doing my sadhana and things were happening, and I one day I just happened to go to my terrace and on one of my akka, was there, who asked me if you can take some yoga classes, and it all started from there. I started taking yoga classes in this pandemic period, and I wanted to take online yoga also because, that is the time when Isha also was assisting us to how to take online program. So when I saw this online program opportunity, I was very, very skeptical about the whole process because what we can offer is something which is very limited, but I don't know how powerful it can be for what we can
True.
actually offer offline. So being very skeptical about the whole process, I simply try to imbibe the whole process, whatever they're trying to tell. I was going through the training, and I was just trying to see what is a possibility, what we can do about this. And I tried. I started my session with two people, three people, four people, like that. Slowly I started taking classes. And International Day of Yoga, when International Day of Yoga came, my first collaboration happened with one of my senior teachers. Her name is Tripti Jadhav. So that was my first collaboration, and it happened for quite, I think for 2 3 classes we did together. We were able to separate our, like we came into one particular umbrella, and we were splitting the sessions, and we tried some good things, and it kind of worked well for us. And also I was doing the same collaboration with one another teacher, Geetika. So basically I was very open for collaboration. I wanted to do things with people because I can see that being a separate person, I'm limited in this society, in the social world. If I have to do things, being a separate person and doing things may not be a good idea. Maybe meditating is a good thing to do. Separately, I can sit and do meditation, or I can do my sadhana, I can live separately. But when it comes to doing something outside in the world, I felt we definitely need a lot of people's assistance, and there is a certain openness from people also. Most people are having this openness, but just waiting for that right time to come. Like sometime some people will have this attitude like, you will, if someone comes, I will go. Like that kind of, they will be ready, they will be readily waiting. And this kind of things happen to me, like some a person on an Anna was readily able to give me a yogic space, like is a small space where I can teach. So this is something that he voluntarily gave me, that offer. So all I wanted to do, all I should do is just make use of that, those things. So in that aspect, this 21st of June came, this International Day of Yoga, where all these teachers were clubbed and doing things together.
Yeah.
So I was actually not a part of that particular team, but I was doing this corporate programs by the time. I was doing corporate programs with Isha Foundations. So then I saw one group, like in the people were there. There I actually started collaborating from there, and it went really well. Collaboration really worked very well, and it kind of gave me an opportunity to be with people and work and have fun, and me doing things separately and one more person having fun. And it's always like as Sadhguru said, everything can be a joyful process. I always keep that on with me, or it is, or I don't know, it is simply on. I don't know. Being a joyful thing is something that it is always on with me. So, likewise, I saw there was one article about oil bath by a naturopathy doctor called, Niveda. So, Akka was talking about, oil bath, and when, by looking at that video, all I could see was the depth of knowledge from where she was talking. That kind of fascinated me, and I felt, okay, maybe I should just make a conversation and see what it is. What is it that we can. And one more thing is, by that time I was gathering a lot of participants in my program, where a lot of women participants were coming in my program. So biologically, I was not able to give them a solution, because being a man, I'm not able to relate myself to a lot of problems that a woman can go through. So I wanted a reference, I wanted someone who can give me that knowledge of what a woman is actually going through. And when I saw Akka, I thought, okay, and not everyone will be open enough to talk in those biological terms. So being a doctor, being someone who is exposed to the anatomy, they will be able to talk. And that's how I actually approached her. I wanted to ask some doubt about for my participants, women participants. So that's how it started. That's how the conversation started. So I told her, like we can do some program. So that's how the seed of this Kaya Shuddhi started. So Kaya Shuddhi is the program which is run by both of us in collaboration. So yeah, it all started when Akka came up with you know a program within 10 days. She came up with some kind of a program which she can actually do. Actually, she was doing some kind of a program, but it was not happening in a full flow. She was just doing some consultation and things. And being like we, as we do, we take proper sessions, right? When we come, we share, we do a lot of the session happens in a very proper style. So this combination, she actually loved this combination, how the session started with invocation, and the way we take the session. And then when she comes and she speaks about the naturopathy aspect of the treatment of the, of the program. So it went really well, very, very well. People imbibed it, and there was a certain blockage that people really want to come out of. And Kaya Shuddhi kind of cleared that blockage and gave them the possibility that they can use this life to, transform themselves. And what is this one thing which is not allowing them to transform? Just the lifestyle, the food, these things are something, and of course the toxicity that we have accumulated over a period of time. So with this naturopathy treatments, I can clearly see that all those things were able to flush out of the system, and can give this opportunity for a person to start their life fresh. And if there is any ailments, we can reverse that ailments from within. And being a naturopathy doctor, she had a very clear perspective of what can be done. And looking at that particular clarity, I just thought, okay, this is something that we can definitely do, because it all came from her. It is her own clarity which actually boosted me to do this particular program. So it's a wonderful collaboration, and I'm really looking forward to do a lot of online Kaya Shuddhi program. Even though offline programs have been started now, still this online Kaya Shuddhi program will be an effective program, because for this kind of program to happen, either a person should go to a rejuvenation center and stay there for 21 days, coming out of all your job and everything, you have to invest your time like 21 days somewhere else. But here you can spend in your own home, and you can do your job also. You can reduce the intensity of your job, and you can do this program.
So yeah, so I think you can give me the details. We can put this into description if someone is interested, for attending this type of, and what are the benefits of it. We can put that into that. People can, contact you for that. So if people have to contact you for online or off, with live classes, how can they contact you? If you can talk about that. I think you do also have a YouTube channel. So and
Not as active as your YouTube. I'm I'm mainly active in Instagram right now. Instagram and Facebook is something that I'm keeping myself active as in for the social media aspect. So yeah, people can contact me anytime. I'm ready to address their issues, or I'm ready to help them with yoga programs and all. And yeah, Instagram is something that they can definitely anytime they can contact me through, or even from my website www.theform.in. It has the inquiry forms. If they have any idea, if they are looking for any kind of customized programs, they can ask me there in the inquiry. And also my WhatsApp number is there in the website also. So this way they can contact me anytime.
surely. So I'll put all the details in the description so that the people can reach to you. Uh,
Thank you.
at the last, I think I want to close the session talking about what is Sadhguru for you. If you can talk about that, we can.
Okay. Okay, I never got this question, but what to say? He is more of a living experience for me. I really have no logical explanation to what I have experienced Sadhguru as. Initially, I was, Sadhguru means YouTube for me. YouTube entertainment is what Sadhguru for me initially. But then that gave me a lot of clarity. So I can say Sadhguru means clarity for me. But right now, Sadhguru is not simply a teacher, but the very essence of my life, whatever that I'm doing, in every aspect of my life, I can feel he has done his work on me. The way he has, the way I think, the way I speak, the way I'm keeping myself, and whatever that I'm doing, everywhere I'm seeing, Sadhguru within me. So in many ways, he's a living presence for me. He's something, anything can go off, but he is always on, and helping us with many sources like Sadhguru exclusive and many other things, where he's giving us this opportunity to stay connected with him once again, like all the time, to be in touch with him. It kind of enriches life in a way that a person cannot think. I cannot think anywhere, because as I mentioned earlier, my life, I was thinking to establish it as having a big house, a BMW car, a sophisticated house, like that. But after doing yoga, after being in touch with him, I understood that these experiences are about us, how we are feeling, how we are within ourselves. So he made sure that I am having a BMW experience within myself. If I have a big house, how I will feel. Everything is there for me. There is nothing less. If I have all those things, how I will feel. I'm feeling way more than that. The a complete life. I'm feeling very complete as a piece of life. So for this, he is the very reason. So I think he is a living presence for me.
Thank you so much, Anna. I think it was such a wonderful to talk with you. A very interesting journey you had till now, and definitely you would be having a lot more. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey with me. Namaskaram.
Thank you.